On September 8th, 2018, the alumni season commenced. And in the 473 days since then, we've had everything a TWOW season should have to offer. We had sad eliminations every round. We had nail-bitingly close survivals. We've had embarrassing cucks from people who forgot to vote. We've had 16 prompts and 15 rounds of deaths. And now it's time to finish it all off. Welcome to the finale of Purple's TWOW Odyssey All-Stars. 2 contestants have worked tirelessly to create the best responses possible in order to make it here. Conspicuous Piggy and Plasmic Trojan. Last time, they were tasked with responding to the prompt, what is the best profession someone could possibly have? Each contestant sent 4 responses. They have 4 chances for glory. Regardless of how a contestant's bottom 3 responses did, only the score of their best response counts. A mind-boggling 54 people voted this round. Thank you to ACN, AliWR, Anepic, Arcadia, Augie279, Bandit, Burrito Burger, Seru, Christian Panda, Cole, Conspicuous Piggy, Dark, Domkos, Dunkle Blau, Ender, Eurasian Mapping, Freneco, Funny Man Wyatt, Gizmo Dude 8128, Harry Soaps, Itioti, It's Toad 756, Jess, Kunai, Kystopia, Lady Malib, Lane, Leia Rose, Madeline, Mervin, Michael, Mini Panga Dave, Mr. Dell, Nihonium Tomopi, Non-Existential, Plasmic Trojan, Purple Waves, Whippy, Random Gamer 123, Reselectings, Rex, RLB567, Sergeant Snivy, Site Director Solix Hakare, TB.Wave, Thanos Whale, The Math Guy, The Name's H, TL Droplet X, Vegemite Bot, Visuriant, Vortex83, Wyatt, and Xeon Z for voting. I'm absolutely baffled at the amount of people who voted. It means so much to me that even after so many delays and a total lack of everyone pings throughout the season, we've still managed to make this the 3rd most voted on round in Mini TWOW history. I can't thank you all enough for the support. Before we get to results, we got a few more pieces of fan art made between 16A and 16B, so here's a look at the additions to the gallery. Thanks to Itioti, Madeline, Non-Existential, Michael, 8th, and Anita Jumper for their beautiful art. Also in the news, this channel hit 100 subscribers! Wow, I don't think there's even close to 100 people active on my server, so if you're watching this and you happen not to be a part of the TWOW community or not to be on my server, make a Discord account and click the link in the description to join the server for my TWOW. If you've read the description before, you may know that this All-Star season is just an experimental thing I did in between seasons of my regular TWOW. Season 5 won't be made with videos, as making videos with over 100 contestants seems absolutely hectic, and this was just meant to be a one-time thing. That's not to undermine the quality of the Discord TWOW though, so if you're one of the few people watching who doesn't happen to be on my server, I do recommend you join Season 5 once it starts in a few days. For anyone watching in the future, sign-ups will probably close somewhere in the first week of January, but future seasons of my TWOW, as well as any other you'd find in the community, are always happening. Anyway, as you all know, each contestant submitted 4 responses. I'm going to start by revealing each contestant's 4th response and move up from there. Conspicuous Piggy's worst response was, firefighters make a living by saving lives. Real-life superheroes. A nice and wholesome response. I like the positive thoughts behind this one. Plasmic Trojan's worst response was, stockbroker. Simply understanding trends can secure you thousands through shares. Also a very valid take. Sounds a bit stressful, but profitable. Where will each contestant's scores begin? Oh wow! Trojan manages to start off with a 15% lead, getting all 4 of his responses above 50%. We'll have to see if this lead stays, however. Let's go to their 3rd responses. Conspicuous Piggy submitted, Japanese dating app programming. Raising their birth rate pays tremendously well. As usual, I'm uncultured, so I won't understand this premise, and Googling things is far too much work for my extremely lazy self, as you all know. It does look like a callback to Izzy's round 1 winning response though. On the other hand, Plasmic Trojan submitted, Sitcom actor. Eventual syndication ensures you're paid even after retiring. Okay, maybe it's because I'm writing the script at 6:40 in the morning before going to sleep, or maybe I'm just dumb, but I don't understand this response myself, or have anything to comment on it. So, insert Plank the sitcom reference. Let's go. Literally nothing changed. Piggy cuts Trojan's lead to 13%, but other than that, the scores are still in the same place. Let's move on to their second responses. Piggy's was, sleep testing. You'll never work a day in your life. Short and sweet. It gets to the point well and makes sense. My only question is sleep testing really a profession? I've never heard of a professional sleep tester myself, but maybe that exists, who knows. Trojan said, a movie's screenwriter. Closing credits guarantee your name's permanently remembered. Fun fact about me, I used to always watch the entire credits of every movie or TV show I or my parents watched. I don't really know why, so maybe I'd remember the person in this response. How did the second best responses fare? Trojan once again barely moves up at all. On the other hand, Piggy manages to make a huge leap forward, cutting the lead down to just 2.78%. What was looking like a decisive victory is now anyone's game. It all comes down to each contestant's best response. In the blue corner, we have Conspicuous Piggy, our frontrunner, the winner of the last 2 rounds, and somebody who has not yet been outside the top 2 since 6 rounds ago. Oh my goodness, is that a typo? Piggy! Not like this! Anyway, he submitted, background acting. Perform in blockbuster films without the paparazzi following. I like this. I didn't even notice a typo until one singular voter pointed it out to me, so I think it went largely unnoticed. The concept is pretty clever, and I think it's still a solid response to end off the season on. But, was it enough to win it all? We'll have to see. Anyway, in the orange corner we have Plasmic Trojan, the efficiency champion who nearly died in round 1, but has had some golden moments since. He is this TWOW's best competitor overall, getting 4th in Season 2, 2nd in Season 3, and 2nd again in Season 4. And now he's in the finale of All-Stars. It's insane how in the last 77 rounds of this TWOW, he's been a part of all but 2. And he still hasn't won a season. But will he change that this time? It all comes down to how well this response does. He submitted, Programmer. When companies start automating professions, computer specialists remain unaffected. A valid take on the future, albeit a pessimistic one. Makes sense though. Programming is absolutely on the rise right now, and with the way stuff is going, it's just going to become more important. But was legitimately answering the question the way to go in a TWOW prompt? This response is true and all, but did the voters think it was particularly clever or good enough to be the best response of the round? For the final time this season, I wish you both good luck. Over a year has passed since the beginning of All-Stars. We've seen so much happen in the community between then and now. We've seen TWOW Central rise to activity, we've seen me go totally inactive for a while, then come back half a year later. We've seen quite a few people make their departure from the community, others randomly show up after months of inactivity, and more people totally new to the scene. And most of all, we've seen 0 whole episodes of Carrie's TWOW. But while all that went on, this contestant count slowly dwindled, and now, from our original pool of 37, we're down to 2. And in just a moment, we will go down to 1. Our 2 finalists are Plasmic Trojan and Conspicuous Piggy. Only one of them will survive round 16, and be crowned the winner of Purple's TWOW Odyssey All-Stars. And that winner is... Goodbye, Conspicuous Piggy. It was an absolute pleasure watching your journey through this season. You did well in Season 4, but you aren't in too many TWOWs, so I didn't know what to expect from you at first. So I ended up expecting you to get around the middle, and your early performances showed this. Some good, some bad. You prized once in round 3 and started falling a few rounds later as the competition grew stronger. And then came round 7, the peculiar 11-10 single elimination, where you scraped by just 0.15% because Ethan Lane forgot to vote. Despite seeming like you were going to die any moment before then, that was your turning point, and from that point on, your performance only got better. In round 11, you got your first prize since round 3, and you got both your responses in the top 2. You followed it up with 2 second places and then 2 wins. After being relatively efficient, you cemented yourself as an extremely strong contender for the win, earning yourself the frontrunner title. Unfortunately, you weren't able to beat out the 3-time finalist in the last round, but that in no way discredits how well you did. Congrats on your responses, your dominant wins, your near-death survivals, and your hugely impressive run throughout the season. Second place is nothing to look down upon, and I hope you enjoyed every bit of your journey that resulted in it. And the highest of congratulations go to our winner, Plasmid Trojan! I don't even get what kind of skill is required to make it to the finale 3 times in a row in 3 incredibly difficult seasons. Even after losing twice, it seems you weren't swayed at all along the way to your 3rd attempt to win a finale. Round 1 did seem a bit rocky, where you only lived due to a late vote before I enacted my policy, but round 2 saw you all the way up to the prize region you knew you had the skill for. I'm honestly surprised you didn't prize more this season. Maybe it was the changing meta forcing you to back away from your usual pun-filled strategies, but you ended up placing somewhat near the middle consistently after that. You did almost die a few times, but you were never especially efficient. But somehow, the efficiency champion role did end up falling down to you despite this, and you responded by snagging the last prize of the season by a margin of around 0.5% and immediately losing the role. You clearly weren't out of the running, even though you were being outperformed in relative ranks. After all, you were the only person to make Alumni 4 times. Season 2, 3, 4, and All-Stars. And that, just in itself, is a very impressive feat. And as the competition slowly fizzled away, and you outlived the 2 people who had beaten you in the previous seasons, you found yourself right back in familiar territory. The final 2. The place you had gotten to twice before and failed. But this time was different. This time, you weren't on the wrong side of the results. This time, you solidified your place as the true All-Star. There is no other person who I would rather see coming out in first place. The journey is over, and you are the lone survivor. Congrats, Trojan. You deserve it. Here is the full leaderboard. While it does look like Trojan had a decisive victory, it wasn't always the case. Here's a graph of the winning margin over time. As you can see, it was teetering over the edge until Trojan pulled away near the end. And while it looks like half the voting period isn't a lot, that's the first 27 voters who thought Piggy was a little bit better on average. Here's the graph in terms of scores. And have you wondered what that graph would look like if the x-axis had a scale too? Well, here it is. As for relative ranks, Trojan finishes off with a relatively low 58.79%, which isn't enough to beat Piggy in the title #1 total. If you want to see the mention stats, check the sheet in a few days. It's the finale, and everything I say now is going to affect it anyway. Trojan and Piggy, as well as anyone else who died, if you want to send a eulogy, I'd ask you to do it within the next few days, as the final epilogue episode, where I'll display the final round of eulogies as well as a few other things, will probably come out within the first 2 days of Season 5 signups. Before we end off the video, there are a few questions you may be asking that I should probably answer. So here goes. Will Season 5 be in video format like All-Stars? No, and not any future numbered seasons either. This was just an experiment and it's taken up a huge amount of time, and I never planned on replacing my Discord seasons with this anyway. Will there be an All-Stars 2? You know, if you asked me this during my hiatus, I would have given you a hard no. If you asked me a few weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, probably. But now I'm honestly unsure. I feel like, while a second All-Star season would be able to be higher quality than the first, as I've now learned a lot about video hosting, it wouldn't be able to capture the charm and novelty the first one had. If I do host All-Stars 2, it will probably be after 6 or 7 regular seasons have passed, but deciding that is for the distant future. Do you have any specific goals for Season 5 in mind? I want to host a season that isn't missing anything. Season 3 was fast, but it was always late on stuff like stats. Season 3 and 4 were always late on elimination parts. Season 4 slowed down a lot near the end, and the earlier seasons were nowhere near as good. I want to make something I'm truly happy with throughout its entirety, from round 1 to the finale. Can you rig me to win the season? No. What is your favorite pizza topping? In terms of individual toppings, probably the cheese, honestly. It carries more individual appeal to me than any specific other topping you'd put on it. But my favorite type of pizza is Hawaiian, however. What happened to 16A? Respond in 10 words. You know, I think we're done here. Enough stupid questions. Well, it appears we've reached the end. I appreciate you all for being a part of this season. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed hosting it. Stay tuned on the Discord server for Season 5 in a few days. And as always, thank you all for watching. Hi there. Purple Gaze here. In person. Weird, right? Anyway, I just wanted to wish you all a wonderful holiday break. Thank you all for the support this season. I really appreciate it.